What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Breakdown. My name is Josh.
And my name is Taylor.
And we are the WDW Couple, and this week we are talking all about choosing the right Disney resort for your next Walt Disney World vacation. Because it is, well, quite important.
It is.
For numerous factors, right?
Yes. For many, many reasons.
Exactly. So each and every week, this podcast, I just want to say like this episode, but it's the entire podcast, is brought to you by Gal Getaways. No matter the trip, whether you have small kids, big kids, or no kids at all, we have agents who can help you plan your next destination vacation, whether it's here to Florida or any other destination around the world. We certainly do have a agent who can help you plan your next destination.
Agent.
Or, we have multiple.
An agent?
It doesn't matter.
Agent. Okay.
You say
cool.
Potato. I say potato.
That's definitely not what that is.
Actually, I just say potato. But if you're interested, you can go head over to the show notes and there's a vacation quote form, or you can just head on over to goldgalgetaways.com and request a free quote. It doesn't cost you a thing. Each and every week, this podcast is also brought to you by JTR Media, which, yay! We had our first official gig this past week, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but we got to be part of a proposal.
We did. It was pretty exciting, actually.
And capture the magic, which was awesome. I'll tell you what, I was sweating bullets the whole time, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think because the whole thing was a surprise, it was a little more nerve-wracking.
And it was tough. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. If any of you out there would be interested in something of the sorts, doesn't have to be a proposal or an engagement, doesn't have to be a wedding. If maybe you just want to capture your first visit to Walt Disney World, or maybe your child's first visit to Walt Disney World, whatever.
Or just your vacation to Walt Disney World.
Or just your vacation, or if you're heading to the beach, pretty much anything and everything, we're willing to listen and try to make something awesome and cool for you to relive for the rest of your life. So you can head on over to the show notes once again, and there should be a link in the description of the show notes. So used to saying description. Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard battle between what you say in the podcast and what we say on our YouTube videos, because technically this is also a YouTube video, but it's mostly for your listening pleasure and not for watching. So it's it's hard to know what to say and
it is
what
what
not
it is.
to say and how to say it. But we're also going on a Royal Caribbean group cruise. And we mention this every week, but that's just because we want to keep reminding you that on January 26, 2020, we are setting sail on the Harmony of the Seas for a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise. And we just talked to some of our friends that are going with us at the Polynesian the other night.
Oh, yeah,
so we are super excited, and you can still join us if you would like. It's going to be so much fun.
Yep, we've been talking about some of the activities that we're going to be trying to do on board. And, of course, we're not going to set anything in stone until after the final payment date, which I think is the beginning of November. So.
Oh, I thought it was October. Whatever. November, October.
It's one of those. I don't know. We only have, I think $500 left to pay on it, so almost there.
Yeah, we are almost there.
Super excited.
I'm very excited.
I am also right now
slacking.
Oh, well, I've actually been injured for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Well, you haven't gone to the doctor to get checked out, so
no, I haven't. But the last 2 days, my foot has been feeling great. But speaking of that, I am doing the Dopey challenge this year, and with that, I am doing I'm doing it as a fundraiser for Dragon Master Foundation. It's a society that is It's a foundation that is set on beating childhood brain cancer. And as they kind of grow, they're looking to try and move that forward into not only just children, but also adults, which would be really cool as well. So if anybody out there would be willing to or open to helping me out with just donating a few dollars, there is a link in the show notes as well that will take you directly over to my fundraiser page on the Dragon Master Foundation website.
Yes. And share with your friends. Share it.
Sure.
On all the things.
On all the things.
All right. So I'm just going to do this week's top stories all by myself because Josh has no idea any of these things that are happening.
Nope.
And it's kind of cool. There's just two little things we want to talk about here. So over at Universal Orlando.
Hey, wait, I did know about this.
Oh, did you really? Oh, yeah. That's right, because Alex told us. Stranger Things pop-up is now happening right now over at Universal's Cabana Bay for Halloween Horror Nights. A new Stranger Things pop-up is now open to hotel guests at Universal's Cabana Bay Beach Resort for Halloween Horror Nights, and this pop-up features 2 fun photo ops, the Buyer's Iconic Living Room and the Scoops Ahoy Ice Cream Shop. I know nothing about these things because I have never watched the show. But this pop-up is open from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day during Halloween Horror Nights and is free for Cabana Bay hotel guests, and guests staying at other hotels are welcome to visit as well, but you will queue up in a separate line from the Cabana Bay resort guests. But I think it looks really cool because, I mean, I know they have the Stranger Things house at Halloween Horror Nights, but you can't stop and take pictures and all that because you're walking in a line to go through the house, and plus you're not even allowed to record or take pictures in the houses.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing outside of the Stranger Things house.
It literally just says Stranger Things and the wait time.
Yep. And
all the cautionary things.
Which, speaking of which, if you guys haven't seen or haven't been paying attention to the YouTube, we just posted Halloween Horror Nights this week, which was a lot of fun. I was there with Nate.
Yeah, Josh went on opening night last Friday. And I did not go because I did not get a frequent fear pass. 1 night a year is enough for me. So I'm going like next week. I think we're going next week.
Yeah, next week's going to be a rough one for us.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on
May or may not have a podcast out next week, actually, speaking of.
Oh, so. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
It'll be a tough one.
We always say we'll figure it out. We always do. But yeah, like I was saying, this is like a really cool opportunity because you can actually take pictures of these scenes from the TV show on Netflix. So Josh would probably be into that a little more than me because I don't watch the show. But
blasphemy. It
would make a really cool Instagram post. So. And then moving on to Disney news. There are more details released about the new lounge coming to Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. If you didn't know, Meisner's Lounge closed a while ago, and it's being refurbished into a brand new lounge, and it's actually going to be much bigger than Meisner's Lounge because they actually closed that store right next to it, and that is expanding into the lounge. Yes.
The store's on this side.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It's closed.
Okay.
Yeah, so located on the second floor of the lobby, this reimagined lounge will be called Enchanted Rose and will be celebrating the magic and romance of Disney's popular live-action movie, Beauty and the Beast. Featuring 4 unique spaces inspired by Belle and the Beast, you'll find charm and elegance around every corner. The lounge includes a chandelier inspired by Belle's flowing ball gown, as well as a formal library that will showcase classic Baroque designs and French furnishings. A garden room will take its inspiration from the enchanted forest surrounding the castle, and an outdoor patio will evoke the romance of Beast's Garden Terrace. That's pretty interesting. This is like the first real details they've actually announced about this. And they gave it a name. So we know the name, Enchanted Rose.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually kind of excited. I mean, Meisner's was...
too. Meisner's was a little boring.
Meisner's was kind of boring. And I mean,
not as boring as Martha's Graveyard.
That you mean Martha's Vineyard.
Whatever.
But yeah,
it's boring.
It was not a place that I ever saw myself hanging out in. I mean, we
was
stopped
always
there
busy.
just to get a drink every so often, but I think this place will be a little bit more inviting, a little bit more interesting. I think Beauty and the Beast, at least this theme, fits very well in the Grand Floridian. It's elegant.
Yes.
It's lavish.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But it will feature a delicious menu with a variety of shareable bites, and it will open this fall at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa.
So it's probably going to be coming out of the Citrico's kitchen.
Probably.
Right? Yeah.
Probably.
That'd be my guess. Opening this fall, yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
assuming, unless they build another kitchen, but that would take up a lot of room.
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah, so some cool little news this week, but we've been trying to keep the news kind of short lately when we do give you the news. That way we can get right into the breakdown.
And speaking of which, this week's breakdown. That's supposed to be like a sound effect in there or something.
If somebody wants to send us a little beat there,
Beep, 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 beep.
feel free to do so.
How to select the best resort for you and why this is just so important on your Disney vacation. We get this question probably not as often as I would think myself, and that might be because a lot of people have already kind of made their decision.
Or it's because I'm the one reading all the messages that we get.
Or that, that could be a very good possibility. But it's something that if you kind of really aren't paying attention or aren't really thinking about how you're going to be vacationing to begin with, it might not make a lot of sense for you, to spend a lot of money at a place like Grand Floridian if you're not ever going to be in the room. Or if you're really planning on just kind of taking it easy and relaxing, it might not be a good idea to stay at All-Star Music or Pop Century or something like that. I mean, they're totally fine options to stay there if you are looking to relax, but, maybe you want to experience more amenities of the resort. So that's kind of what I wanted to kind of break into this week and talk about. This is actually kind of a little vlog video that I thought about, but I also thought that we could talk a little bit more in detail on the podcast.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't know, Disney has over 25 different resort hotels to choose from across property, and with quite a few more that are on the way. So it can be overwhelming and difficult to really decide where you might be staying or where you want to stay at on your next trip.
Mm-hmm. Or if you've never stayed on Disney property, or if it's your first visit or whatever, you might just not know what there is available to you.
Exactly. We have actually stayed at all the tiers. Disney's pretty much broken down. It's really 3. They have it broken down into 4, but I would group like the last 2 together, and that's the Deluxe and Deluxe Villas.
Yeah, they're kind of one category.
They're pretty much the same thing. But yeah, Taylor and I have stayed at least all 3. Taylor's stayed at way more Deluxe hotels than I have.
Yes, I have.
But we've stayed at, the Value Resorts, All Stars. We've stayed at
I've been to Pop Century.
Yep,
Coronado.
Port Orleans. We have never been to Caribbean Beach.
No, we're staying there in January.
Later. And then the Deluxe resorts. So
Animal Kingdom Lodge, Wilderness Lodge, the Boardwalk,
I guess
Saratoga Springs.
I stayed at Saratoga and Wilderness Lodge. But
we stayed at Bay Lake Tower once too.
Oh, that's right. We did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
My memory is awful sometimes. So where has your favorite place been to stay at? And why?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
Why?
Okay. I can't give a single answer, but here we go.
Oh my gosh.
I did not read this little show notes thing we've got here before we did this podcast, so I didn't know this was going to be asked. So that's why I have multiple answers.
Surprise is always great.
So I really liked staying at Bay Lake Tower because I liked how easy it was to walk over to Magic Kingdom. That was so convenient, that little walkway over there. You didn't have to worry about transportation if you went to fireworks or getting up in the morning and trying to rush to get the bus before, there was a ton of people there. You just walked and came and went as you pleased. I also really like Saratoga Springs. I know a lot of DVC members do not like Saratoga Springs. I don't really know why, but I like it because it's nice and quiet and it's really never super busy.
Yeah.
You can always get a chair at the pool. It's a really nice pool at the main pool. It's got the big water slide. It's a 0 entry. It's really nice. And you can walk to Disney Springs. So in the evening or in the afternoon or whatever, if we didn't have anything going on, we just walked over to Disney Springs because we could.
Yeah.
But I also really like Animal Kingdom Lodge and Wilderness Lodge.
Okay, let's just name all of them.
Yeah, I know. Because I love the lodge feel. But Port Orleans Riverside will always have a special place in my heart because coming multiple times as a child, we stayed there when it was Dixie Landings and then eventually Port Orleans Riverside. So I will always love that resort.
My turn?
I guess so.
Well, I'm gonna go with Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Well, I knew you were gonna say that.
I mean, Wilderness Lodge is pretty nice. All the monorail resorts are pretty nice. Not that I've stayed at all of them, but
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom Lodge is the place, in my opinion, to be if you are looking to have one of the most relaxing vacations you could possibly have. If you can get a Savannah View room, I think Savannah View rooms are like the best. You can literally just sit out on your balcony, eat some food, drink a cup of coffee in the morning, and watch the animals just roam around. The giraffes and gazelles and
you
water
honestly
buffalo.
don't have to have a Savannah View room to see the Savannah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Because you can go down to the lobby and do that as well.
I mean, you can go right out. They've got a nice seating area out there. At nighttime,
rocking chairs.
they do like some storytelling. They also do s'mores. It's a fantastic resort to just relax. And they also have a spa down there as well. I don't think a lot of people know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And we own there.
I'm pretty sure they do, right? Or am I just making stuff up?
I don't know. You better check.
I'm pretty sure Animal Kingdom Lodge has a spa.
I think they do too.
Taylor's going to double check for me real quick. The Zahanati.
Sahanati?
The Zahana-
Massage and Fitness Center.
Anyways, I'm not going to try and butcher the name, as I already did, so I don't know why I'm saying I'm not going to try to.
Yeah. I literally did not know they even have this, and we own Disney Vacation Club at Kidani Village, so.
Yeah. But they have like a spa place there, so it's a great place to really just unwind and relax. The pools are decent size. They've got a couple pools that you can hit up. They've got plenty of whirlpools that you can hit up as well.
Oh, yeah.
The bar outside is great. The bar inside is great.
All right, let's remember this podcast is not about Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah, I know. Whatever. All right,
and this is about the resorts in general.
But so why is your resort stay so important for your Disney vacation?
I'm going to say the most important thing with staying on property, actually not the most important, one of the most important things is your transportation.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes, because your transportation to the parks is free and you also get your 60-day Fast Pass window.
Yeah. And
versus 30 days if you're off property.
And if you're staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're the furthest resort from pretty much everything besides Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, I mean, a couple of other things are costs, first and foremost, right? We kind of mentioned earlier that if you're looking to be in the parks kind of from dawn till dusk, sunrise to sunset, and into the night, it's probably not worth your money to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge or at the Contemporary or something like that where you're paying,
a lot of money.
At least $350 or more per night. At the same time, maybe if you do want more of an experience at your resort, you're not really looking to get that much time in the parks, or maybe you're looking to do a balance of it. Maybe, that's where you kind of weigh that price a little bit, And of course, if you really want to be all just relaxing and not worrying about heading to the parks at all, then, paying that extra money for some of the greater amenities that the Deluxe resorts offer might be up your alley. So
we actually have some friends that just got here yesterday, and they like to stay at Pop Century when they come down because they are never at the resort. So they want to have all the benefits of staying on property where they can have resort transportation and they can do the 60-day Fast Pass window and they're close to the parks and they can come and go as they please very easily. But they don't want to pay a ton of money when they're barely ever going to be at their resort. They're basically going there to lay their head at night. Exactly. And they're just kind of paying to have those amenities of being on property instead of, like Josh said, spending a bunch of money and never being at the hotel.
So if you don't know, Disney has 3 tiers. I kind of already mentioned this. Technically 4, but I would round them out into 3. And that is the value resorts, the moderate resorts, and the deluxe resorts. So each one has its own unique amenities that may or may not be worth it to you. And those are going to vary from tier to tier and from resort to resort. So all of the resorts have pools. Not all of them have spas, though. All of them pretty much have activities. Those activities are going to vary from resort to resort and from tier to tier. They all have restaurants, but the restaurants are going to vary from tier to tier, from resort to resort. And transportation is the same thing. So a lot of things that you should really probably be considering whenever you're making your decision. So first and foremost, probably the first one that we'll talk about is the Disney Value Resorts.
Yes, that's a good place to start, I feel like, because this is something anybody going to Disney World, this is basically where you should start looking, because it is the lowest in price, has all of the things that you will need or will want going on vacation as like the basics anyway.
Yeah.
And then if this isn't really what you want, and you can always go up from there. But the value resorts start at about $99 throughout the year, and it varies based on season.
Yep.
So there's peak seasons, and there's the value season, and the...
Sorry, if you're watching this on YouTube and you see me like really shifting around, it's because I'm trying to take my socks off because they stink from my shoes.
Oh, wow, great. That's what everybody wanted to hear, I'm sure. But there are a few different value resorts. You have 3 different all-star resorts, which are all-star movies, all-star music, and all-star sports. You also have Pop Century, and then Art of Animation. And Art of Animation actually has suites, which is really nice for families.
The music also has suites as well.
Yes, and most of these resorts, besides Art of Animation, because it's like a pretty new resort, have all been refurbished recently or are currently being refurbished, which is really nice. We just stayed in a refurbished room at All Star Movies, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. And one thing I'll add real quick, too, is that even though, and I could have probably added this to the moderates as well, even though Art of Animation is considered a value resort, it is normally priced more along the lines of a moderate resort because it is almost entirely all suites.
Yes.
They do have a few hotel, like, regular rooms.
The standard rooms, yeah.
But yeah, so keep that in mind if you're thinking about Art of Animation.
Yes, and I was actually going to mention that because some of the prices are a little higher, and people are like, oh, well, this isn't priced as a value resort. But the size of those rooms is so big. You're getting a couch and a couple, beds and that sort of thing. So You're actually not paying a moderate price because you're getting a much bigger room at a value resort. And that's why it's priced the way it is.
Yeah.
So it's good for bigger families, like a family of 6 that wants to stay in one room together.
Absolutely.
Instead of paying for 2 separate rooms.
Yeah. Now, these all still do have multiple pool areas. So normally all of these resorts can have a big, large main pool that's going to be located next to the lobby. If that's something that you're concerned about, you can ask before you check in. You can call ahead or...
when you get there to check in at the desk.
Yeah, or if you are using a travel agent like Gal Getaways, shameless plug, they can contact the resort for you and try to put in a request to have you a little bit closer if that's possible. It's not guaranteed by any means, but...
No, but you can always ask, and it doesn't hurt to ask either. All of the value resorts also have laundry services. Now, if you are a Disney Vacation Club member and you've stayed in a room that has laundry in the room, this is not like that. The laundry services is actually its own separate building, and I've noticed that it has been near the main pool area at most of the resorts. But it is something nice, especially if you are staying for a week or two and, need to wash your dress pants or whatever. Whatever needs washed.
Just doing laundry in general. I mean,
especially if you're here in the summer and you're hot and sweaty every single day.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're really trying to do Disney on a dime and you're trying to, catch a cheaper flight and you don't want to pay a bunch of money for extra bags, it's nice to have a laundry service because then you can just, bring a few outfits and you just rewash them. I mean, nobody's going to care. The only people that are going to know are you, and most of the people that are going to see you, they're never going to see you again. So
it's really funny. I literally used to say that every vacation. Oh, I don't care what I'm wearing because I'm never going to see these people again. Well, I can't say that anymore. So, unfortunately for me.
God forbid we wear the same dress or the same shirt too many times.
Oh, no, I try not to do that.
Yeah, I know.
It drives me crazy. You don't care. You wear the same shirt every other day, so.
It's whatever.
Actually, in 2 podcasts in a row, Josh was going to wear the same shirt. And I was like, you better change that. Go use the laundry services. They also, at all the resorts, have handicap accessible rooms available. Now, is that something that you have to request, or how does that work?
Yeah, so whenever you go to book your room, that is also something that you're going to have to request because they're not going to just magically know that you need that. So if you can't do it online, you'll just have to call them and let them know.
Or tell your travel agent.
And they should be able to accommodate that fairly easily. If by chance you end up on the second floor or the third floor or something, most of the hotels have elevators for you to utilize so that you're not climbing up and down the stairs. So
you also have access to quick service dining, which is basically the food court in all of the value resorts. Now, just so you are aware, at the value resorts, they do not have any sit-down restaurants, like table service restaurants.
Nope.
It's all quick service, so and it's actually one food court at each resort. So, and actually my favorite one is at Art of Animation.
I think that's mine too.
What's it called? Landscape of Flavors.
I was going to say Flavors of Fire.
I literally almost did too. No, but it's actually really good.
Is it Landscape of Flavors?
Yes. Yep.
It is good. They have
Very
quite, I mean, we haven't been there in a while, so maybe they changed it.
And they have the secret menu at All Star Movies, which I love, the cinnamon roll cheeseburger.
They do.
And then I kind of said this before we started talking about value resorts, but you also have transportation, and this is something that's available at all the Disney resorts, is bus transportation to and from the parks. Now, something that is going to be starting here towards the end of this month is the gondola system. This is very new. If you've been to Walt Disney World in the last couple months, you've probably seen them in the sky, and it's a different kind of highway in the sky.
Yeah, they're opening up this month, so there will be all kinds of videos popping out about it here
so
soon.
At Pop Century and Art of Animation, you will be able to access the gondolas. And the gondolas, the station for them, it's actually the same station for Art of Animation and Pop Century because they have that bridge that connects the two resorts together.
So it's located right there in the middle, which is pretty convenient for both guests. Yep. Might be slightly inconvenient on
busy days.
Busyness, I mean on
we really
load,
don't know how it's going to be. We don't really know what the capacity is going to be like.
It says 8 people per cart.
No, but I mean per hour,
per hour,
getting people through there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they move pretty quick.
We'll find. Yeah, they do. They were booking it through there, so we will see.
Another thing that you can always consider, and this goes across the entire standard of all the resorts, is in-room dining. We didn't do a review on this, and we should have. And
no, we didn't.
I was actually talking to Nate about it.
I think it's just because we were so tired.
Oh, we were for sure. I was talking to Nate about it at Halloween Horror Nights. And him and I were actually joking that we might just go get a room for the night, and we're gonna do our own little dining review of in-room dining.
Oh my gosh, you could do an in-room dining mukbang.
Yeah, we could.
But I want in on that.
But they have in-room dining. The menu is not as vast as what you may have seen when we stayed at the Waldorf. We just posted that earlier this week. Mm-hmm. But we got pizza and wings, and the wings, I'll tell you what, were the best wings that I've had since I've moved to Florida, and there is not a single place to get good wings here in Florida. So
no, there's not.
Oh, it's awful.
And we got pizza, and it was really good.
And it was good. Yeah, it was.
It didn't take long, so.
But yeah, I mean, value resorts are definitely the best for, I think, probably families with younger kids. The pools are pretty big. They can handle a lot of people. Yeah. Capacity is very good. A lot of seating around the pools as well for chairs. Mm-hmm. One thing that just pops into my mind right now is that when Taylor's family was staying at Wilderness Lodge, we went down to the pool, and there's almost no place to sit down there.
There really isn't.
Very little capacity.
And it was kind of disappointing for it being such a big resort.
I mean,
and it's a deluxe resort.
It's a deluxe and a deluxe villa resort.
Yeah.
So
it's a Disney Vacation Club resort.
That was disappointing. Another thing that we didn't mention as part of the pools is that Art of Animation. A cool thing is that they play music under the water.
Yeah, they do.
Now, it's not always the greatest music, and it does range in genres.
It does.
But it's a cool added thing that kids definitely enjoy. I mean, we even enjoyed it when we were there last year or 2 years ago. But this is definitely a great place for families. Mm-hmm. A lot of larger-than-life characters. Buzz and Lion King.
Yeah, there's different themed rooms for the different areas of the resort.
The all-stars. Mm-hmm. Art of Animation the same way.
Yeah. And Pop Century, all of them. Yeah. All of the value resorts have different themed areas. Not just for families, though. Even, couples or adults coming down that are planning on spending most of the time in the parks. save yourself a little bit of money.
Yeah, just like our friends, like Taylor mentioned, our friends that are getting in.
They got in yesterday. I already
Not at the
said
time.
that if you didn't know.
Not at the time of this podcast, but yeah, I mean, it's a great place to take that money and spend it in something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you guys have questions about Value Resorts, feel free to send us an email at thewdwcouple1@gmail.com.
And if you're looking to book a vacation at a Value Resort, go to galgetaways.com.
Yeah, there you go. Shameless plug. So
I don't think we have to say shameless plug. We can plug whatever we want.
I mean, that is true. Sure.
But I think now we can move on to the moderate resorts.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, these resorts start at $198, and that does fluctuate throughout the year depending on the season. Obviously, Christmas time, they're going to be more expensive.
Peak season.
So, and we have several resorts from the moderate category, which is Disney's Caribbean Beach, Disney's Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter. These are technically kind of two different, but they're in the same spot.
They're technically two different because they have two separate lobby areas.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And then we have Disney's Coronado Springs. So
I love that you said that we have several resorts and you named 4.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is 4 considered several?
No, probably not.
Since 2's a couple, 3's a few, 4 is several. Is that how you're playing that?
That's not. But some nice things about these deluxe or these moderate resorts is, well, number one, Caribbean Beach is getting the gondola system as well. So you have gondolas plus bus transportation. Port Orleans, Riverside, and French Quarter, you have boat transportation to Disney Springs. And you can also get to Saratoga Springs as well using the same boats, which is a really nice benefit. And then probably one of the biggest additions is Coronado Springs. We have the Grand Destino Tower, which technically would make it 5 because it has its own lobby.
No. Coronado Springs lobby is Grand Destino Tower's lobby. Yes.
Oh, they changed that? Oh.
Yes.
I stand corrected. It is still only 4. But you can watch fireworks from upstairs at the Dahlia Lounge, which is an amazing view of Epcot and Hollywood Studios. A little bit from a distance, but it's pretty awesome. And again, same thing as the Valley Resorts, you have multiple pool areas. Biggest pool is normally going to be near the lobby, and then you'll have a few smaller pools that are scattered throughout. I think this is probably most prominent at Caribbean Beach, which we haven't stayed at, but
we will be.
Yeah, they have a pretty nice pool. Is that the Pirate?
Yes. So here's the thing with the pools at the moderate resorts compared to the Value Resorts. The Value Resorts is just a pool. It ranges anywhere from like 3 to 5 feet deep. At the moderate resorts and then even the deluxe resorts, it still ranges anywhere from like the 3 to 5 feet deep. But they have water slides and the pools are themed a little bit better.
You know what? That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. There are no water slides at the Value Resorts.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit of a greater amenity if that's something that you're looking for, especially for families with kids, you know?
Or kids at heart.
Or kids at heart.
I like to do the water slides.
She definitely does.
Yep. They also have laundry services, and same thing, you can request a handicap accessible room. They have those available.
Yeah.
Now, here's where it differs a little bit from the Value Resorts. All of these resorts have a quick service dining location, some sort of food court. But all of these resorts have a sit-down restaurant, except for French Quarter. It does not have a sit-down restaurant.
No, it doesn't.
French Quarter just has the quick service, but it has a lounge.
It does have a lounge.
The Value Resorts do not have lounges.
Some good beignets over there.
Yes. But all of these resorts have sit-down restaurants, and most of them have a lounge for the most part. So,
and let's plug ourselves as we go down the list. We have a dining review for almost all of these restaurants, except for Maya Grill. We haven't been back to Maya Grill.
And not for Three Bridges Bar and Grill.
That's more of like a bar side quick service.
But we have a dining review for Geyser Point. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll get there. We'll get there. But yeah, I mean, so when we talk about sit-down restaurants, obviously the biggest difference is that this is
it's a table service.
It's a table service, right? So you're going to have somebody who is going to come up and give you a menu and get you your drinks and bring you your food and take care of you.
Where quick service is like a food court.
Yep. So at Caribbean Beach, we have Sebastian's Bistro, dining review. If you'd like to go check that out, go ahead. We'll wait. Then you can head on over to Port Orleans Riverside. Distinction here is Riverside. They have Boat Rights, which is one of Taylor's favorite restaurants for
prime rib.
Well, it took you long enough. I'm surprised it took you that long.
They also have French onion soup there, I believe.
Yuck. Prime rib is disgusting. And then
I want to go back to Boat Rights. It's good.
What?
Boat Rights is good.
Ugh. Oh no, wait! They do have that shrimp etouffee.
Etouffee.
Oh, that was good. I love that. That was
yeah,
really
I love
good.
that you were just about to say, "Ooh, that's gross."
And then over at Coronado Springs, we have Toledo.
Yes.
And
up at Grand Destino Tower at the top.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, what's the other restaurant? It's Maya Grill. I was confused there for a second.
Yeah, that's in the Coronado Springs area.
It is. So, and we've done one at Toledo. Great restaurant. Service could have been better that night. We got to get back.
Yeah, and then they have two like lounge type areas. They have Three Bridges Bar and Grill, which is like kind of more of a restaurant. It's like shareable stuff. And then they have Dahlia Lounge as well.
And then they also, technically, if we're going to talk about the lounges, they have a lounge in the main lobby, which is located on the first floor. Are you coming in on the second floor? How does that work? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. They do.
They have that downstairs
Yeah,
one.
I forgot about that.
So, we weren't...
All of these moderate resorts have a lounge.
Yeah, I was just going to say we weren't some of those people who were like, let's go do a resort tour. So, but we do, I have seen Three Bridges Bar and Grill. It does kind of look like a cool place to hang out because it's over on the lakeside. I'd love to go check that place out. So
remember the good old days at Port Orleans Riverside in the lounge. What's the lounge called? Trivia.
Oh, over at Trivia. They don't do that anymore.
No, they don't do trivia
done.
anymore.
No more trivia.
John and Katie quit on us.
Or we just stopped going. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't because of us.
We did bring a pretty big crowd.
Not only us. There's plenty of others there who also brought the crowd. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of options, or a lot more options, as you can already see, compared to the value to the moderate. And in that, you're going to pay more money.
Yes.
Another thing that we haven't mentioned yet, or that each of these resorts throughout the tiers have basically a parking fee if you bring a vehicle.
Yes.
Which is going to range anywhere from like $20 to $35 depending on where you're staying at.
Yeah, it varies based on resort.
And we kind of already mentioned this, but transportation at these moderate resorts does vary once again. All of them do include bus transportation to all theme parks and water parks and to Disney Springs, but Caribbean Beach, you now have the gondola system opening up later this month.
Yep.
I believe it's opening up later this month.
Yes, it's like September 25th or something.
Was it the whole thing or was it just tiered?
Oh, I don't
That's
know
the
that.
thing.
I don't know that.
So at some point, gondola at Caribbean Beach is going to be opening up. And then you have the boats from Port Orleans and French Quarter that will be going to Disney Springs. And you can also get Saratoga as well from that. And it's actually a really great, that's a really relaxing ride at night. If you don't have anything to do in the evening, crowds at Disney Springs can be a little bit crazy, especially on the weekends. But, if you're staying over there, it's a nice relaxing ride along the water, under the stars.
Oh, my gosh.
If you get really lucky, you'll get a boat captain who might try to sing to you or make jokes that are really bad. But, hey.
Some of them are pretty great.
Yeah. So, but I would say... and I think Taylor would probably agree that this is probably more for people who are looking to maybe do about more of like a 50-50, right? You want to have some amenities. You want to be able to relax at the pool, relax at the resort, but also kind of split your time equally in the parks. That'd be fair?
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least that's the way I would like to look at it. I don't want to go there if I'm not going to be spending probably 50% of my time at least at the resort.
Yeah. And I remember always, every time we stayed at one of these resorts, we always ate at their table service restaurant. Every time.
That is true. The second year that I came with Taylor's family, which was in 2010, we stayed the very first night at Coronado Springs.
Thanksgiving.
And it was Thanksgiving.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
And
because somebody just asked about holiday meals in our Facebook group.
and we ate at my grill. And I think I was one of the only people that did not get a Thanksgiving dinner.
I didn't either.
I
Because I wanted steak.
Yeah, and I got whatever was on
Duh.
their menu, which was like some type of, I think it was like a rice or noodle bowl from what I can remember. And I think like Darren, Taylor's stepdad, and your
Basically
Jim,
everybody
maybe.
else at the table.
And it was like, we should not have gotten this Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I digress. Moving on. Or is there anything else? Can you think of anything else to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it about the moderate resorts. I mean, we're obviously not covering everything. We're just kind of comparing and telling you what things are available to you at these resorts. So I think we can talk about the deluxe resorts. So the deluxe resorts start at about $363 per night. And that does vary by season, just like the other resorts. And now here is where you have a lot more to choose from. I think this is like the most resorts in the category.
Yep.
So you have Animal Kingdom Lodge, the Boardwalk, Yacht Club, Beach Club, which Yacht and Beach Club are actually connected, the Contemporary Resort, Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, and Wilderness Lodge. And the Contemporary also has Bay Lake Tower attached to it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's pretty bad. Forgot to put something in there.
Wow.
But all of these resorts have something really great to offer. So I know Josh already talked about it a little bit, but at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah. What was that?
Animal? I don't know what I said. At Animal Kingdom Lodge. Okay, listen, I worked all day. I drove home. I did my makeup and then came in here to do this podcast.
Hey, you know what? I went to work today too. And though I may have sat on my butt in the office, in the back end of our office, the AC stopped working. So pretty much all day we were making jokes that upper level management can afford to keep themselves nice and cold. But hey, the field staff, they've had to make some budget cuts and we just have to suffer. So we thought it was funny. I guess it may not have been that funny. I don't know. Anyways, what were we talking about?
I was talking about some things that are offered at each of the resorts.
We got on a sidetrack because you couldn't speak properly because you worked a long day.
You got sidetracked, not me. Well, I guess I did say I worked a long day. Anyway, but I said Animal Kingdom Lodge has Savannah viewing. And then they also have some really nice pools. And they have two separate areas. They actually have the Jambo House and Kidani Village, which both have two completely different pools. And Kidani Village pool is awesome. I love it.
And just real quick before we move on,
what else?
Is that if you are looking to stay here, I would highly suggest that you stay at Jambo House and not Kidani.
Agreed.
Jambo is a little bit of a better, I think, resort. I mean, they're all the same. They're the same resort, Kidani and Jambo House, but Jambo is a little bit bigger. And as far as eating and food options, it's a little bit better than what is offered at Kidani.
It's just a little more convenient at Jambo House.
Yeah.
And then at the Boardwalk, what is really nice is you can walk to Epcot.
Well,
and Hollywood Studios.
I mean, Boardwalk, so a lot of people consider Boardwalk, Yacht Club, and Beach Club the Epcot
Resorts.
Hollywood Studios resorts, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's really nice. They have a really nice pool there as well, with a big clown slide. I saw a scary picture of it from nighttime the other night, but whatever. And then the Yacht Club and the Beach Club.
Well, hold on. While we're just talking about Boardwalk at the moment, one thing that is nice about Boardwalk is that they also offer you nightly free entertainment, basically, out there on the boardwalk. And of course, I didn't list all of the sit-down restaurants for these deluxe resorts.
There's a lot.
There's so many. So we can kind of like just touch base with them as we go. And of course, we just skipped over them on Animal Kingdom Lodge. But what's nice about the boardwalk is that you have a lounge inside.
Bellevue Lounge.
And then you also have Abracadabar outside. Actually on the boardwalk, which is then also connected to
Flying Fish.
And
Trattoria Al Forno.
Both
restaurants.
Excellent sit-down restaurants. I think Flying Fish is a little bit better. Trattoria Al Forno is great for
breakfast.
That breakfast reservation, right?
Yes.
And then you also have, like I was saying, free entertainment. It occurs mostly at nighttime with just like some kind of like circusy boardwalk acts. I don't know what else to call them. So moving on away from the boardwalk, you also have the Yacht and Beach Club, which also have their own sit-down restaurants. You've got at the Beach Club is
Cape May Cafe.
And the Yacht Club is Yachtsman.
Yachtsman and Ale and Compass.
Ale and
Ale and Compass has a lounge, and Yachtsman has a lounge, the Crew Cup Lounge.
The Crew Cup Lounge.
Oh, and the Beach Club has Martha's
Graveyard. Is it technically the Beach Club or the Yacht Club, or they share the same pool?
They share the same pool.
So if you've not seen, this is the sand bottom pool, which is pretty,
not the whole entire thing,
the whole
just
thing.
part of it.
Part of it?
Sand bottom.
But it's still pretty cool. I've never been in it.
They also have a lazy river.
And a lazy river.
Mm-hmm.
Is it as good as Hilton Bonnet Creek's, though?
It's not as big.
Oh.
And they also have a really cool like pirate ship and like water slide.
Another thing I've never done. That is one resort that I would climb up and do those slides.
I have never stayed there before, and I would love to. And like we said, it's in the Epcot and Hollywood Studios resort area, so you can walk to either of those parks. And I didn't mention this about the boardwalk, but there's also the Friendship boat service that goes to all of those resorts and the Swan and Dolphin, and then to Hollywood Studios and to Epcot, which is really nice.
And before we move on away from that area, we also have the infamous Jelly Rolls, which I'll never go back to. But if you are interested in live piano, there is a cover
Dueling
charge.
piano bar.
Oh yeah, it's a dueling piano bar. Excuse me. You do have to pay a cover charge to get in there, which is kind of why I don't really like to go, because I don't think it's really worth the money. But they do have some specials on like drinks while you're in there.
They have a new souvenir cup you can get.
Oh.
News.
Let me pay $25, whatever the cover charge is, to then go inside.
It wasn't $25.
Oh, Josh, the Debbie Downer tonight. But there's that, and then you also have the extremely popular, it is extremely difficult to get in here, guys, Atlantic Dance Hall.
Talk about sarcasm. I will never forget.
That didn't make any sense.
My mom and Darren always talk about how... Actually, Darren always talks about how my mom dragged him in there one night and had him buy her a $16 drink, which...
How is that even possible?
What?
Was it busy at the time?
I don't know.
$16 drink at Atlantic Dance Hall?
Yeah, we paid $4 for 16-ounce draft beers the night we went.
You paid how much?
$4.
For Bud Light.
Yeah, for Bud Light.
Ugh.
You can't even pay $4 at a bar in
gosh.
Disney for Bud Light. Even if it's draft.
Yeah,
and we were paying $4.
If you're confused or you're like you're totally crazy, I am just kidding. Atlantic Dance Hall is almost
walk in.
Never busy. They never have a cover charge. They advertise as no cover charge.
Yeah.
They advertise as walk right in and dance the night away.
I will tell you what, the one time that we went there, we had a blast. And I think it's because it was the end of our Epcot Resort bar crawl.
Of course.
And it was like our last stop for the night. So
we're pretty sure that there were cast members who were in plain clothes who were probably being paid to be out there and dance to try and get people, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
They were the hype kids.
Yeah, they're trying to keep people out there and living it up. But just some additional things that are in that area. You don't have to be staying at Beach
they also
Club.
have ESPN Club.
Or ESPN Club as well. But I mean, like, you don't... And of those two things that we just mentioned, along with Dab Bar, Flying Fish, yada, yada, you don't have to be staying at any of those resorts to enjoy some of those added things that are there. Those are just kind of... they're not really amenities, so to speak, but they're additional, like, activities that guests can do, and they're more convenient if you're staying there.
Yes.
Also, one more thing before we move on away from Yacht and Beach Club, you must be staying at Yacht and Beach Club to enter the pool. If you're staying at Boardwalk, you will not be able to go in. If you're staying at Swan and Dolphin, you'll not be able to go in. If you're staying at any resort, doesn't matter if you're staying in the Presidential Queen Martha Victoria Suite at Grand Floridian.
Josh
I don't know if that exists.
No, it's the Princess Diana Suite.
Oh, I'm sorry. Princess Diana. You can't wander over and use the Yacht and Beach Club's pool. So something important to know.
That is the one pool. And it's because it's so like popular and they have the lazy river, the sand bottom and all that. So they actually will scan your Magic Band and put a bracelet on you.
every single person entering that pool must have a magic band. It must be registered to the room.
Yep. And I think that's it for those couple resorts around Epcot. Before we move on, though, I do want to mention from Animal Kingdom Lodge, there is some great dining options there. You have Jico, which is actually a signature restaurant. It's wonderful. We've been there a couple times. There's also Boma, which is a buffet. They have Maya.
The Maya.
Maya.
That's the quick service.
That's the quick service. And then they have Sanaa, which has an amazing bread service over at Kidani Village. Then when you jump over to the Contemporary Resort, which is one of the monorail loop resorts around Magic Kingdom, the greatest benefit about staying here is you can walk over to Magic Kingdom. That's what I mentioned in the very beginning of this podcast. And it's honestly wonderful. Also, if you get a theme park view room, you can watch the fireworks right from your room.
Yeah, you can.
It's also very nice. Like I said, it's on the monorail loop, so you can use the monorail as transportation between the other resorts and to Magic Kingdom, and you can switch monorails and go to Epcot, which is pretty nice. And for dining, they have a couple of restaurants as well. They have Chef Mickey's, which is a character buffet. They have The Wave, which is a sit-down table service. California Grill, a signature table service. And Contempo Cafe, which is a
lounge
quick service. No, Contempo Cafe is the quick service.
Yeah, sorry.
The lounge.
The Outer Rim.
There's multiple lounges. The Wave has a lounge. Outer Rim is a bar lounge. And then California Grill has its own bar lounge.
I suppose so.
Yeah. You suppose?
I suppose.
You suppose? Are you disposable? Suppose?
I'm indisposed right now.
Suppose. You suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, Contemporary is great.
There's a lot to offer there.
The pool's really nice. You can take a boat from the Contemporary over to Wilderness Lodge or the Fort Wilderness Campground, which I didn't mention in this, but
wow,
the campground is actually considered part of the moderate resorts.
Oh, so I didn't realize that.
For cabins.
Yeah, you can stay in cabins or get a campsite. And I was actually just thinking about the Contemporary, but all of the resorts have a gift shop as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so some of the merchandise... Huh?
Nothing. I was just making fun of your accent.
Don't make fun of me. People will comment about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
But they all have a gift shop. Now, at the 3 resorts surrounding Magic Kingdom on the monorail loop, they actually have multiple shops in them. The Contemporary has a couple. So... in the main lobby, technically it only has 2. Actually, it has 3. 3 in the 4th level. It has that one in that little back corner where you can get some grocery stuff.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, no,
I forget what that one's called. And then there's like the one right in the middle. I forget what it's. Fantasia, and then LBV.
They pretty much all have, the way that most of them are all set up is that because these are also DVC resorts, they have a store that has miscellaneous goods and food items and drinks for you to purchase. Beer, soda, water, wine, chips, yada, yada, yada. And then anything that you may need on your vacation. Toothbrush, medicine, yada, yada. Usually in those stores, that's where you're going to find the DVC merchandise. For the most part, I think Polynesian might be the exception. Because that DVC stuff is in the main store on the first floor.
Wow, you just made that really confusing.
I did. But
I even know what he's talking about, and I was confused.
But it's really nice because it just gives you kind of like more options to find some things that are more unique. And obviously they sell merchandise that is themed for the resort.
Yes.
And again, maybe this is obvious, maybe it's not, but those are going to be a higher price item. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, and then Josh kind of was talking about the Polynesian there, but the Polynesian has a couple of really good restaurants too. Ohana, one of our favorite things. And, maybe one of my favorite things because he did not respond when I said one of our favorite things.
It's too much, too often.
Anyway, that's a topic for another day. They have Kona Cafe. Then they have
we haven't been there in a while.
No, we haven't. They changed the menu too. They have like the Kona coffee bar. They have Trader Sam's. They have a Dole Whip stand outside.
Yep.
And then not only do they have Trader Sam's, like the lounge inside, the Grog Grotto, they also have Trader Sam's Tiki Terrace outside.
Outside.
So they also have Tambu Lounge.
Which is connected to Ohana, if you don't know.
Yes, very nice. They also have some shopping, like Josh mentioned. There's a couple different stores in there. You can also take a boat or a monorail to Magic Kingdom, which is really nice. And pretty much anywhere from the beach area or the back side of the resort, you can get a great view of fireworks.
And
it's wonderful.
One thing, and this is going to be more prominent with Grand Floridian, but here soon, you'll be able to walk basically to all of the resorts from Magic Kingdom. They are reinstalling a bridge currently that has been torn down in the past. I think once it goes back up, you're going to see security is going to be a new area of security is going to be located at Grand Floridian just before the walkway begins. But you'll be able to basically walk if you're at the Poly and you just want to have a nice relaxing stroll. You can walk all the way over to Magic Kingdom by going through the Grand Floridian and then continuing on your way outside.
You'll be able to walk the whole way from the Ticket and Transportation Center to Magic Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point too, because you
but
can
you'll
make
have
that
to
walk.
you'll have to go from the TTC
walk.
to the Poly to the Grand Floridian, then to Magic Kingdom.
Actually, that wouldn't be like a bad run, except for having to stop through security. But
yeah, but because there's no way to get from the TTC to the Contemporary without going the whole way around.
Yeah. But it is a nice little addition to kind of what you can do. And by the way, I mean, just like Taylor said, you can walk from the Poly to TTC, so you can easily get to Epcot from the Poly as well. Either jumping on the monorail
instead of taking a bus.
Yeah. So
if you don't want to take a bus.
But just so you know, while we're on this topic, if you're on the monorail loop, specifically the Magic Kingdom loop, you must transfer and get off at the TTC and then get on to an Epcot.
The TTC is the Ticket and Transportation Center, FYI. You
have to switch monorails to get to Epcot. You can't get on the monorail at Poly and not get off at Epcot. That's not how it works. Exactly. Just so you know.
Yes.
Some people don't know that.
The Polynesian also has a very nice pool with a water slide.
Yep.
And you have to have a magic band, I'm pretty sure, to enter that pool area.
I'm pretty sure that all of these resorts, except for Wilderness Lodge, maybe, you have to have
your magic band to get in the pool area. Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
And then, since we're talking about the monorail loop, obviously, we are going to talk about the Grand Floridian next, which monorail transportation, boat transportation as well. There are some really good restaurants here as well. They have actually 2 of their restaurants are signature restaurants. They have Narcoossee's, which is out by the boat dock. Citrico's, which is on the 2nd level next to Victoria and Albert, which is a
fine dining signature restaurant.
And it's not really a restaurant. It's more of like an experience, I think.
It's a fine dining experience.
Yeah. And then they have the tea room, which is pretty awesome. I've done that before. Actually, Josh did too, but he was behind the camera, so.
I was.
And then they have a quick service dining as well. And this is one of very few 24-hour quick services on property.
I didn't even know that.
It is. And I remember the day of the marathon, Josh's dad and I were riding around the monorail waiting for them to actually let us off at Magic Kingdom because they wouldn't let us off until like 6 a.m. or something, even though like people from the race were already coming through. And so we were riding the monorail around and he needed coffee and the Kona coffee bar wasn't open. And I was like, oh, wait, let's go to Grand Floridian. The quick service is already open. It's 24 hours. We went in there. We were the only people in there. There was nobody around. We walked through an empty lobby at the Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. They have some really cool, they have a couple pools there because they have the DVC area. They've got like a little Mad Hatter kiddie area at the pool, and then they have their big main pool.
Yeah.
And then the lobby is just amazing itself. And they have some really cool Christmas stuff that happens there with the gingerbread house every year.
Yeah, so I mean that'll probably end up being a whole nother separate episode where we can talk all about the Christmas decorations that are all over the place. But one thing to add to Grand Floridian is that this has.
You had a fuzzy on your eye, and I saw you picking at it. So
Taylor just picked a fuzzy off my eyeball. Not off my eyeball, but. this is where you can find Sense's Spa.
Yeah.
And which is really nice. Taylor just did a...
Whoa.
What?
Hold up. Wait a minute. You did not put Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa on here.
Oh my gosh, how did I forget that? I can't believe that.
Because as soon as you said Sense's Spa, I'm like, oh, well, Saratoga Springs has Sense's
Yes,
Spa
it
too.
does.
And then I'm like, oh my gosh, you didn't even put that on here.
Well, we'll jump to that next, or after Wilderness Lodge. But you have Sense's Spa there. So
Yes.
Another, type of thing, like this is where this resort is this is a Victorian style resort. I always feel like whenever I walk into the lobby, it's like very like, what do people say? Snuffly? Snuffly? Like it's
Stuffy?
Stuffy. Like it's very
Upscale.
it's
fancy.
very upscale, fancy. You don't see a lot of people walking around with like t-shirts and like athletic shorts on.
I mean, you do from the parks, but if they're going there for dining, that's not what they're wearing.
Yeah, I mean it's a very more like upscale type of resort. So, and again, I mean, like, yeah, you're close to Magic Kingdom, but I would never stay here personally, and probably not be spending 95% of my time just relaxing and enjoying the resort.
Yeah.
Because there's just, that's what it's really meant to be, is a place for you to just relax and hang out.
And that's why there's so much stuff to do there, so that you have something to do, instead of where at the value resorts, you basically have your quick service, your gift shop, and your one big main pool, and then two like smaller pools.
Yeah. But still very nice. It is, it's the next closest resort besides Contemporary. And then very soon you'll be able to walk there. You have boat transportation as well, that is shared between the Polynesian and Grand Floridian. So just another thing to keep in mind.
There's also lots of shopping in the Grand Floridian. They have Basin. They have a couple clothing stores. You can buy your DVC merchandise there. They actually have a salon where you can get an adult bippity boppity boutique type experience. Yeah. Which is kind of cool. And then we talked about this in the news. They're going to have that new Enchanted Rose Lounge coming soon.
Pretty good place. Not that I've ever stayed there, but...
No, we have not stayed there.
The other place that is located relatively close to Magic Kingdom is Wilderness Lodge, which we have stayed at before. And this is probably, I don't know, like maybe my second favorite resort.
Hey, remember that time you said, oh, I don't want to go to Disney over Christmas. And then you didn't go with me and my family to Disney over Christmas. And then you were sad and mopey the whole entire time because you didn't go with us.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
I remember.
But I have stayed here, though. We stayed here, actually, the year that I proposed to Taylor in front of Magic Kingdom. We actually stayed here at Wilderness Lodge for a couple of days before we moved over to Port
Orleans. Yeah, with my family.
And it was really nice. This is a very rustic resort. Obviously, it's going to include pretty much all of the same type of amenities that you're going to get at, everything else, except they don't have a spa. But they do have some other unique activities that you can do around the resort that do change. So you can get a times guide and check those out. But
and I didn't mention this, sorry, about the Polynesian. You can stay in a bungalow at the Polynesian. Because I was going to bring it up, you can stay in a cabin at Wilderness Lodge.
Right. But when we're talking about $360-some a night to a bungalow and a cabin out by the water,
it's still an option.
$1,500 or something ridiculous a night. I mean, hey.
Some people do it.
Some people do it. Good for you. Wow.
I'm just telling people what's available to them.
But I mean, Wilderness Lodge, though, you have boat transportation to and from Magic Kingdom, to and from the Contemporary, and then you have buses that will be running to everywhere else. They do still have a bus that runs to Magic Kingdom, just in case if you're wondering, in case you don't want to take the boat for whatever reason, or it's closed for weather.
Or because the boat doesn't start running until 30 minutes before the park opens.
Yeah, that was kind of silly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a great resort. They've got the relatively new, it's coming up on a year now since it's been open, is the new character dining experience at Artist Point, which features
storybook dining.
Yeah. And then the very beloved restaurant,
Whispering Canyon Cafe?
Yeah, thanks.
Could you not think of the name?
I couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, I saw like...
Ketchup! We need some ketchup over here! Ketchup.
Aw, poor Jazzy was sleeping on the floor, and when Josh yelled ketchup, she like jumped up.
Sorry, Jazzy.
Aw.
You'll go back to sleep. Don't worry. Yeah, and then they also have a quick service location as well. So
And then they have Geyser Point Lounge outside.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have a nice little shop there too. And we didn't mention this, but pretty much all of these deluxe resorts have like standard rooms. Some of them have like studios. And because these aren't just DVC points, any room that's a DVC room, you can technically pay cash for. It's just going to be expensive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's the kind of the point of DVC, is to help you save your money to come on a lot of vacations in the future. That's a topic for a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention that.
But that is a good point, though. The room sizes, that is something I totally glossed over.
At the deluxe resorts, the room sizes are huge.
You can get a standard like hotel room, but then you can also get a suite. Mm-hmm. You can get like a deluxe suite.
You can get a 1-bedroom villa, a 2-bedroom villa, a 3-bedroom villa, and then they have like the
Queen Victoria presidential.
Whatever Josh is talking about over there. They have like their presidential suite essentially, which is massive. But the 3-bedroom villas are typically 2 stories. So I've been in one of them at Saratoga Springs.
I'm sorry.
Josh is choking on his water over here.
The water went down the wrong way.
You gonna cry?
I don't cry.
No, he doesn't cry, actually. You all right?
What better way to wash down water down the wrong bite by drinking more water? Anyways, where are we at? Moving on? Are we done?
Wilderness Lodge?
Are we done with Wilderness Lodge?
They have a nice pool, but like Josh said earlier today, it's a very long, very small seating area. But we had a really nice time hanging out in that pool, and my family was staying here. Yeah. They have like they have a waterfall outside, and we kind of hung out by like where the waterfall went into the pool.
Yeah, there's a river actually that flowed into the pool.
That had a waterfall.
It wasn't quite a waterfall.
Whatever.
It's debatable.
Debatable.
It was an almost what do they call those? It's almost like an infinity pool that looked up the river. So not quite an infinity pool.
Sorta, if you want to explain it that way. And then last but not least, even though clearly it was least, because
we forgot another one.
What?
Old Key West.
Hold up. We did not forget anything.
Okay.
You forgot.
I forgot. But another one is Old Key West, which is the original Disney Vacation Club resort. It's actually been refurbished over the last couple of years, and it's a beautiful resort.
Must not be that beautiful.
Well, it is among all of the deluxe resorts the one that has the least amount of amenities.
But it has like the biggest rooms.
It has the biggest rooms, and they're usually the cheapest.
The 1-bedroom villa is like massive.
Yeah. But it's very nice. And the reason that I thought about that...
I guess we're skipping over Saratoga Springs. We're just going to talk about
the reason that I thought about that was because you can also take a boat from Old Key West to Disney Springs and via Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Old Key West is... I don't even remember if they have multiple pools spread out through
I'm not sure. I know they have the one big main one that Skylar fell down the stairs on that one time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. With a slide, yeah. But then you have the sit-down restaurant, which is...
Olivia's.
Thank you for reminding me. And...
Thank you.
No quick service.
What?
I don't think they have a quick service there, do they?
I don't know. We've never actually stayed there. I don't know what Old Key West has.
They've got like a few little like quick service type of deals outside, but they're more of like a little barish lounge type of deal.
Thank you, Taylor, for being my brain for the day.
We're not Jimmy Fallon here.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
But, I mean, other than that, I don't know what else there really is to say about Old Key West, other than it is the one that is the oldest, has probably the least amount of amenities. And so we'll move on to Saratoga Springs, which is probably one of my favorite resorts.
Wow, that was pretty sad. All the Old Key West lovers out there are going to be hating.
Boat and bus transportation, both at Old Key West and Saratoga Springs, to and from Disney Springs, which is pretty nice.
And Josh is continuing to move on again, ignoring what I said.
Yeah, sure am. Saratoga Springs, here we come, baby. Mm-hmm. I like this resort. I don't know why people don't like it.
I like this resort, too. So one of the nice things about it, Josh mentioned at Grand Floridian, they also have a Senses Spa here at Saratoga Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually quite a bit of stuff that you can do at Saratoga Springs. And I forgot about this over at the Yacht and Beach Club and Boardwalk. You can actually rent Surrey bikes.
I don't think I would do that over there, though. I feel like it's...
I don't know, but we rented a Surrey bike at Saratoga Springs one time,
fun.
and it was a really good time.
It was fun.
We kind of did like a whole resort tour and then rode the Surrey bike around, and it was really fun.
It's only good, though, if both people pedal and not just one.
Whatever.
If you're listening, we just did a stare down. Still doing it.
They have a whole activities like center there as well. They have a really nice food court. At least I think so. I've always enjoyed the food at that food court. But maybe that's just because we've stayed there so many times. I just like it.
I mean, it might be. It's pretty standard food across most of the Deluxe resort.
Their gift shop
courts.
is super small, though.
The gift shop is extremely... It might
Like
be
for
the
how,
smallest.
Like for how big that resort is, it's a really small gift shop.
It's the only... It's not the only one because Old Key West is pretty much the same way. But Old Key West, I think, store is bigger. But it's like the only one that just has the one store. Doesn't have multiple ones. Even Wilderness Lodge only has one store, I think, too.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, whatever.
But yeah, they have the food court, artist palette, and then a lot of people don't know about this place. They have the Turf Club, which is off the back, and it's wonderful. It's such great food. They have really good French onion. They have a great prime rib there as well. It's like a hidden little gem. My family always likes to eat there. We did try and do a dining review one time, but I don't know what ever happened to the video and what happened to the footage. It did not ever get posted, and who knows where that videos went. I think that was from like January 2017. It's been a while.
Who knows? It's just an excuse to go back and do a video for it, I guess, later on.
From some French onion soup. You can also play golf.
LBV.
Lake Buena Vista Golf Course Clubhouse is like downstairs off the back of Saratoga Springs.
Yeah. We actually just played there again with our friend Mark and with Nate.
Yeah.
And it was a blast.
Yep.
Even though it was super hot out.
It was really hot out, but it was a good time.
It was a lot of fun.
What else about Saratoga Springs?
It has
You can walk to Disney Springs.
Yeah, you can walk Disney Springs if you don't want to take a boat.
Which is really nice. It's the closest resort to Disney Springs.
Yeah. And let's see what else. They do have a pretty nice like night, well not a night, sorry. Not a night walking trail, but they do have like a nice nature walking trail that kind of runs with and between Old Key West and with the golf course. So that's something else that you could check out if you'd be interested in doing it.
Yeah, they do.
They have a lot of really great wildlife around a lot of the golf courses just because they're maintained and taken care of so well. So, yeah, but what else about Saratoga Springs? Probably not a whole lot. It's pretty much just bus transportation to all of the theme parks. It is one of the closest resorts to Character Warehouse. If you are looking to get over to the shops, it is the closest one. So a Lyft or an Uber is not going to cost you as much as it would from Animal Kingdom or up in Magic Kingdom. But, and it's also probably the closest to Typhoon Lagoon, if you want to go to Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah, that or Old Key West.
Well, yeah.
Really pretty close there.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's still a nice resort. I don't know why people don't like it so much.
I don't know. A lot of DVC members don't like the resort.
Maybe it's just because we have stayed there so many times. But
yeah.
To me, it feels more like my home resort than Animal Kingdom does, and I think that's just because I've stayed there so many times. But
I'd agree with that.
So, yeah, but it also has a health and fitness center as well, in case anybody would be concerned or wondering about that. Yeah. But Deluxe, I think, is definitely the place where if you are planning to really want to relax, hang out, that's where you want to put your money at, and not be probably trying to spend a full day in the park and be paying a ton of money. But if that's what you want to do, hey, go ahead and do it. Nobody's going to judge you.
Oh my gosh.
Secretly.
All of the Deluxe resorts also have concierge available as well.
That's another thing.
So we have actually never stayed concierge anywhere. No. But we did have friends one time that were very fortunate to be upgraded to the presidential suite at the Contemporary.
Oh, that was cool.
And they invited us to come up and see it. And we had a couple of snacks and some champagne in the concierge lounge. So that was a really good time.
And they can help you with almost everything and anything.
Yes,
Dining
concierge
reservations,
services
fast
is very
passes.
nice.
Those are really the main things that are the most important, probably. But
Oh, yes.
you know, so yeah.
Now, I know there is a lot of stuff that we did not talk about.
Like what?
With all of these resorts, specific to each resort, you know, the theming and blah, blah, blah.
I know.
But that's because we just wanted to basically give you a general overview of what is offered to you at each of the resorts and what can help you make the best decision picking the resort you are going to stay at on your next Disney vacation. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind, but some of the best things was staying on property at a Disney resort that you cannot get staying off property is fast passes 60 days in advance.
We should really clarify this before we go down this rabbit hole.
Oh gosh, this is a rabbit hole?
Oh, yes, because most of what people consider to be off-property resorts are now official Walt Disney World hotels.
So let me say, there are some resorts that have recently and in the past have become Walt Disney World Resort hotels that you can still get some of these amenities with, like the Swan and Dolphin Resort.
That's always been part of it.
I said in the past
as
well. Hilton Bonnet Creek Orlando. Waldorf Astoria Orlando. Anything else?
Yeah, pretty much
bunch of
everything
Disney Springs.
pretty much everything down at Disney Springs.
A bunch of Disney Springs resort hotels that we have not stayed at.
So if you're not staying anywhere close to Walt Disney World,
if you're staying at a resort at Universal Orlando, which is not part of the Walt Disney World Resort, just in case you don't know that, you cannot get these benefits. So not just these resorts we talked about today are Disney owned and operated resorts.
Yeah.
The ones that are sort of surrounding Disney Springs are not owned and operated by Walt Disney World, but are still considered Walt Disney World like partnered hotels. So you can get these benefits. And you can look those up online, which ones are included in that. But these are the best things about being at one of these hotels is getting fast passes 60 days in advance, transportation to the parks,
transportation to the airport if you
transportation
are up
to
for
the
that.
airport with Magical Express. And another thing I always think about is being able to have the Disney dining plan.
Yeah, if that's something that you're also interested in, which is a topic for another time. But
Some people don't like to do the dining plan because it's not worth it to them, but it's a great option to be able to have. And if you are not staying at one of these kinds of hotels, you do not have access to that. Us as locals, we can't book fast passes 60 days in advance. We can only book 30 days in advance. And we can't get the dining plan. And
right.
we don't have transportation from our home to the parks. But if we were to go stay on property, like we will be during Marathon Weekend, we have access for transportation. If we wanted to get the dining plan, we could, and we'll be able to book fast passes 60 days in advance.
I would think that hopefully this has helped some of you out there who just might be wondering about the resorts and kind of, why some people stay here or why some people stay there or why maybe it's better to stay at Value if you're going to be going from sun up to sundown and into the night, compared to really not staying at a deluxe resort where you're, paying a lot more money. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
So you basically just have to wager how much you want to pay, what kind of things you are going to do at your resort, if you're not going to do anything at your resort, and if you need to save a little bit of money, or if you don't really have a budget in mind, then hopefully that'll help you decide what kind of resort you want to choose.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Is that it?
So.
Is that it? Nothing else?
Is that it?
I guess that's it, everybody. So thank you once again for joining us for another week at the Weekly Breakdown. And if you've been watching, thank you for watching. And if you have been listening, I hope that your car ride or whatever you're doing in the comfort of listening to this podcast in my lovely voice. It's not really that lovely, but
Except I'm sorry he let you down and didn't pour any coffee this week.
I didn't because I have to go to work tomorrow.
And it's currently
almost
very
11
late.
o'clock. And I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So no coffee for this guy. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again, everybody. Oh, we just hit an awesome milestone of 40,000 subs on YouTube.
We did.
So thank you, everybody out there who has been with us. I mean, whether you've been with us from the beginning or you've been with us for 2 weeks.
Or a day, or you just subscribed.
We really appreciate it. So, yeah. And that's it.
And I guess that's the weekly breakdown.
Way to end it.